Hey guys, some of the dogs and I are headed out to Oklahoma to see if we can find some quail. Right now we're at a rest area that we stayed at overnight en route, and this has worked out pretty well as far as a comfortable place to stay, and of course it's free. So I haven't been able to do as much hunting this fall as I wanted to, or as many videos, because I developed a hernia. And it really hit me when I was in Michigan, and I didn't mention it in that video, but it was definitely affecting me there. Nobody in my family's ever had a hernia, so I wasn't sure really what was going on. I suspected a hernia, but wasn't sure. And in terms of treating it, I'm scheduled for surgery next week to have that taken care of. And so hopefully it'll be done after that, and after my recovery I'll be fine to do whatever I want to do. Now in the meantime, I went online and found a truss or a belt that I could wear that did help quite a bit with the hernia, and with that I decided to go ahead and try this trip out to Oklahoma to see how it goes. So we'll see how it goes, I guess is the key there. Hopefully things will hold up, and we'll get into some quail and have a good trip. All right, thanks for joining us. Last year was my first ever trip to Oklahoma looking for quail, so this year I made another quick trip to the northwestern part of the state. But I did go to a different wildlife management area that was about an hour and a half from where I was last year. Even though we weren't that far from where we were last year, I was surprised by how different the terrain was, and it stretched on for many miles. On this first morning, it's New Year's Day, and I'm out with Y and Boogie. And again, Y is a little female. She's young. She's 2 years old now, but I've been trying to get her on birds this year. Not too long into this walk, I got a GPS alert that both dogs were on point. The Y's on point here. Boogie's back in it. Y's first covey of quail, and I missed him. I originally thought I missed both of these birds, but I may have nicked the second one as it faltered and went down before the others. This is shortly after the covey flush, and Y is on point with Boogie backing, and it was where there could have been singles maybe from the covey, and I thought to myself, Y really is on fire this morning, but well, you'll see. I'll try. Trying to get it away from this tree. A Tweety bird. Why? Why? A Tweety bird. Okay, got to figure a few things out. Here, I walked a covey up, and Y was nearby, but there was no point, and I did shoot one bird out of the original covey rise. Come on, Y! Find it! Find it! Come on! Come on! Fetch! Y, come! I think I shot one. Come on, Y! Y, come on! There you go, there you go, good girl, Y, come! Y, come! There you go, good girl! Come here, Y! Come here, Y! Come here, Y! Come! Y, come! Come! Come here, Y! Come here, Y! Come here, Y! Come! Come here! Hey, oh, well, that's not really a textbook retrieve, but I'll take it. Okay. All right. We're on the board. Thank you, Y. I had turned my camera off and another bird popped up and I shot it. but again, didn't get it on video. So it's right up here. I seem to only be getting the birds I don't hit on video. I think they found it, but are pointing it. Dead bird, come on. Oh, there it is. There it is. All right. All right, here you go, guys. All right, so that's a male bird this time, which I'm glad of. Nice bird. They're kind of small. Smaller than what I'm used to. Nice bird, though. All right. We also had some non-productive points on this morning. Here, Boogie's pointing and is 100% convinced there are some birds here. And I thought there would be too, because he's pointing into an area of ragweed. But we didn't find any birds, and I'm not sure if maybe they ran out ahead of us, which we had some trouble with last year when we were out here, or if maybe they'd been feeding in this area but had left already by the time we'd gotten there. It was kind of later morning. But anyway, we didn't get any birds here. And that was it for our first morning. We didn't get into a lot of birds, but I was happy we found some. And what I was most excited about was why finding her first covey, even though she also had a Tweety bird mixed in. You might have noticed that I used dog boots this year, and that's primarily because I had such a hard time with sandburrs last year, and I think there were more sandburrs this year even than last year, and the dogs really paid for that. In fact, I'm convinced that you really can't hunt multiple days in this area without boots on your dogs. After reading some reviews and talking with a few folks who have used boots before, I decided to go with Lewis boots. I ordered some boots over the summer, but true to form, I didn't try them on the dogs until only a couple days before my trip. And I discovered that I had a couple dogs that needed a larger size. And at that point, I didn't have enough time to order new pairs. So I contacted the company. Their number is right on the bag, and they're located in Oklahoma. And they very generously offered to meet me at their shop to sell me some from there. This really did save my trip because they met me on a Sunday, and the local retailers who sell these boots weren't going to be open that day. And I wasn't going to go unless I could get some boots for the dogs. And so they were extremely helpful. They didn't know I had a channel. They're not a sponsor, but I asked if I could take some video while I was there, and they agreed. One thing I had been concerned about is how long it would take the dogs to adjust to wearing these boots. And I think the instructions say about 10 minutes. But in my experience, it didn't even take that long, not even a minute. This is Hank on his first use of the boots, and you can see that even by the end of this little clip, he's getting along pretty good. The other dog there is Junior. He just turned 12 months old, and he was running around, didn't care about him even from the start. There you go. Of course, we did some more hunting, but we did struggle. It ended up getting pretty warm, which surprised me for January. And as I would try new places, I'd end up in thick cover, thicker probably than was ideal. But we did end up finding some interesting things and did get into more quail at the very end. I've been seeing a lot of dog tracks, and I originally thought somebody'd been up in here already hunting maybe this morning with a dog, but then I realized I wasn't seeing any corresponding boot tracks like my boot tracks. So those must be coyotes, I'm guessing, and there's a bunch of them. Hey buddy, thank you for climbing the tree. Yeah. Come on, guys. Come on, let's go. Hey, Bogey. You worn out, buddy? You are definitely worn out. So, we just got back from our last outing, and we worked hard. It was probably, I think Bogey did about 12 miles. hank 11 miles. I walked about 4 miles in thick cover. I saw bird tracks. I even saw where something got a bird, and saw where some people not too long ago had been shooting at birds. There were spent shells, but we did not see a single bird, and that kind of surprised me. We worked hard, and I thought we would at least bump the covey if nothing else, but we didn't see a single bird today. But that's just the way it goes sometimes when you're trying new places. It's possible. They did get more rain here last year than this past summer, I guess, than usual, and that might have affected the cover some. It was really thick. Where we were hunting, it was probably thicker than it should be for quail, and we did find a couple spots where things had thinned out a little bit, and that was better, and we hunted those spots, but still didn't find any birds. So, but overall, still, I think a good trip and a good day, even though we didn't get many birds in the bag. It's a beautiful place, and we'll be back. So, something to figure out. Shortly after I summarized the day like I did, I decided I should take Y out one more time by herself because it was the last hunt of the season, and I really been trying to get her on birds. So I booted her up and just took her out from camp. Well, I did end up finding a covey of quail, but they were running, and she hasn't had any experience with running birds, and you can see her here kind of working the trail. She worked it for a good while before the video clip here, and then also for a good while afterwards. She did eventually bump this covey, and unfortunately I wasn't staying close enough, and I should have been, to get a good shot at those birds. But I think this was still a great bird contact for her, actually, even though we didn't end up with any birds in the bag. That was it for the trip, and so now back to camp to cook up the quail we do have. Tenderizing quail breasts might seem like a little bit of an overkill, but I do think it makes them better, especially when you're frying them. I was a little later than I meant to be, so I had to do some of this by flashlight. All right, there it is. Quail dinner, a little bit late, but better late than never. By this point, I was broken down tired, which makes a meal like this taste that much better. All right, thanks for watching.